My name is Lynn Warner, and I'm 30 years old. I'm a divorcee raising my 2-year-old daughter, Sarah. I'm expecting a positive turning point in my life soon. And yet, there were events that ruined it. 3 years ago, while I was pregnant, it came out that my then-husband, Harry, was having an affair and I divorced him. Suddenly, he and his parents, who I used to live with, showed up out of the blue. What do they want now?
Lynn, it's been 3 years. We forgive you. Come back to us, just like you wanted. Sarah needs her dad, doesn't she?
I couldn't help but burst out laughing. No way. Harry, not expecting this response, stuttered, "Huh? I'm moving to New York tomorrow." Harry and his parents were stunned, mouths agape. Why would they think I'd go back to them? This made me recall a tragedy from 3 years ago that I had hoped to forget. I need to start from the beginning, 5 years ago when I met Harry. Can we exchange contact information? I was taken aback. This was at a friend's wedding reception. Meeting here must be some kind of fate. Seeing my friends so happy, I guess I let my guard down. Normally, I'd refuse, but I ended up giving Harry my contact details. Then his relentless pursuit began. "Lynn, I got some movie tickets. Wanna join me? Lynn, there's a trendy cafe that just opened near the station. How about we go together?" At that time, Harry was kind and caring. He always added, "If that's okay with you." I had never met a man who was so assertive and yet respectful. It felt refreshing. Before I knew it, I agreed to date him, and then he proposed. It all happened within just 4 months. My family runs a small hardware store selling things like pots and pans. I'm gonna take over eventually. Lynn, you don't need to help out. Keep your job. I respect your career and want to honor it. I utilized my language skills to establish a career in a foreign-affiliated company. The fact that I didn't have to quit my job was a huge relief. But, you know, our business is a family affair, so you'll have to live with my parents. Don't worry, though. We've already decided to remodel into a duplex soon. Besides, my dad, David, and my mom, Mirabelle, they don't meddle in others' business. I don't think we'll have any of those typical mother-in-law problems. Everything will be fine. I'm here for you.
I'm on your side, Lynn, and I promise to protect you.
I guess I was mesmerized by his sweet talk. Despite my parents' strong objections, I decided to marry Harry. But after we got married, his attitude changed completely. The store he claimed was thriving was actually struggling, and his parents, David and Mirabelle, were the epitome of difficult in-laws. "Lynn, when are you going to quit your job? We need to be at the store, so you should take care of all the household chores." "I don't care if you're some sort of career woman, that doesn't fly here. You're part of the Warner family now, so create an environment where we can focus on our work." Honestly, I didn't want to quit my job. It was fulfilling, and I was valued at my company. But being Harry's wife was a role only I could fill. So, with a heavy heart, I quit my job.
"Lynn, let's have steak for dinner tonight,"
Mirabelle would say, insisting on expensive meals every day. She controlled the finances for both the store and the Warner household, but she never gave me any money. "Hey, Harry, it's tough preparing meals without getting any money from your mom. Why should I use my savings for the Warner family's meals? Don't be so stingy, it's just dinner. And it's not even that tasty. Mom's cooking is so good, I can't help but compare. Yours just doesn't measure up. Was your mother too high and mighty to teach you cooking? Aren't domestic skills more important for a woman than a career? I do my best, thinking about nutrition and health when I plan meals. But your mom always wants steak, barbecues, or lavish dinners.
Stop complaining about it. You're the lowest-ranking member of the Warner family.
Just keep quiet and serve us. That's the beauty of being a daughter-in-law, right? But I couldn't help thinking, isn't it odd that the store isn't doing well? Why do all three of you need to be there? David spends his days at the arcade, doesn't he? Is he just killing time? And Mirabelle, you're always chatting with the neighbors in the shop. It seems like the store has turned into a gossip spot.
You don't understand neighborhood relations.
For a small shop like ours, community involvement is crucial. You wouldn't get it, growing up in an upscale neighborhood. I wanted to scream, that's not what we agreed on. I found it pointless to have quit my job only to serve them. I was busy all day with household chores, while Harry, David, and Mirabelle did as they pleased. I wondered if the shop's business was really okay. Then Mirabelle dropped a bombshell. Starting today, we'll have a part-time worker at the shop. Harry, show them the ropes. A part-timer? I almost blurted out. There's no way our shop, Warner's store, could afford to hire help. It's a friend's kid who's been loafing around, so I said we'd take them on. With a part-timer, you can finally relax a bit. You've been talking about how you've been having trouble with your legs and feet lately. You've been managing both the shop and the house for so long, you deserve a break. There it was, Harry's mama's boy attitude. It's good to value your parents, but it's another thing to always say, I need to ask mom first, and give her all the decision-making power. In this house, my dignity was non-existent. Lynn, could you give me a massage? Every morning and night, I was forced to massage David and Mirabelle. Despite them barely working. I couldn't object, though. Massaging was physically draining, and I ended up more exhausted. Mirabelle, maybe we should buy a massage chair? What? Showing off your wealth again? Your parents always seemed snooty to me. Where would we even put a massage chair? We don't live in a mansion like your family.
Ugh, it's so annoying.
Lynn, you might not realize it, but you always seem to be one-upping us. Maybe it's time you change that. Does every family have mother-in-law issues? Harry, who promised to protect me, never did. Instead, David, Mirabelle, and Harry often ganged up on me, making me an outcast or their outlet for stress. Lynn, have you prepared dinner for 4? Mirabelle had just asked me to, so I had it ready.
Hello.
The one who entered with a casual air was Natalie, the new part-time worker at Warner's store. I heard she was just 20 years old. From that day, Natalie started joining us for dinner. Mirabelle clearly favored her over me, constantly praising Natalie, and often saying, I wish Natalie was our daughter-in-law instead of Lynn. Don't you want to return to work, Lynn? Suddenly, Harry asked me. I'm overwhelmed with just the housework, so juggling a job too seems impossible for me. Then, how about some work from home, like, remote work? Like teaching English online or something. There's a lot of that stuff now. But it was the Warner family's decision to make me quit my job. Why bring it up now? Well, the store isn't getting many customers. Remember the convenience store that opened at the corner by the post office? They're taking away our customers, and our business is in a tough spot. You must know that, being at home all day. Then why not just close the shop and turn it into something more in demand? The location isn't bad. What? Why are you talking down to me like that?
You always act like you're better than me, belittling me.
Harry always took my words in the worst way. What was Mirabelle thinking, hiring Natalie and keeping a struggling business afloat? Then I found out I was pregnant. Harry was thrilled. But the Warner family's financial situation got even tighter. Following Harry's suggestion, I started doing translation work from home. It paid well and was something I could do while taking care of a child. Lynn, could you watch the store for a bit? Mirabelle began asking me this frequently. David was off at the arcade, Harry was supposedly doing deliveries but often sidetracked. And Mirabelle would go out with Natalie. Why should I also be responsible for the store? The Warner family seemed to take me for granted too much. But maybe things would change once the baby was born. Clinging to that faint hope, I learned how to manage life in the Warner household. Hey, Harry, can you come to the obstetrician with me tomorrow? I think so, but why do you want me to come so badly? It's awkward being the only man among all the pregnant women, right?
I want you to hear the baby's heartbeat. It's truly moving to know there's a life growing inside me.
Sure, I'll come. But, man, your mom is really jumping the gun. Sending all this baby stuff. We're running out of space to put it. Isn't it helpful? I read in a magazine that unexpected expenses pile up when you have a baby. Kids are expensive. They said on TV it could cost up to $400,000 to raise a child through college. I'll keep working hard at my translation job, and maybe I'll take on a part-time job once our child starts elementary school. For me, having a child was a big deal. Ever since I married into the Warner family, I've faced a lot of unfairness, but I felt that having a child would mean having an ally. The thought of not being alone gave me strength. Around this time, I started receiving strange emails. I didn't want to believe it, but it seemed they were from a woman connected to Harry. And reading them, it became clear who was sending them. It was Natalie, the part-timer. Lynn, Harry's wife, is such a downer. Ever since they married, the store's sales have plummeted. She's always flaunting her education and looking down on the Warner family. She's doing her translation work just to spite us. Want to know what the Warner family really thinks of her? She's a boring, stuck-up woman. Harry was fooled. She's a devil who seduced Harry to take over the Warner family. Ever since he married her, Harry has changed. He is constantly being cautious around her, carefully choosing his words. It's because she holds the family purse strings. Thanks to her, Harry, David, and Mirabelle are forced to live frugally. She's the root of all problems. I really want to get rid of her, but she's threatening to retaliate with her whole family and relatives. I want to give Harry his freedom and happiness. In other words, I want you to divorce Harry. That's the only way for Harry and the Warner family to survive. Honestly, she's like a jinx, a loser bride.
If she really cares about Harry, she should just divorce him.
I was almost impressed by how much venom she could spit. Me, a devil? A bringer of bad luck? That's a joke. The money from my translation work is what's keeping the Warner family afloat right now. It's baffling that the store continues to operate at a significant loss, not closing despite what seems like a mixture of reluctance and futile effort. The situation seems beyond recovery with the ongoing deficits. It gets dark so early in the winter. It's dangerous on the way home, so Harry, please drive Natalie home. Sure, I didn't drink any beer, so it's safe. By this time, Mirabelle was blatantly arranging times for Harry and Natalie to meet, regardless of my presence. Strangely, I felt no jealousy, only worry for the baby in my belly. I didn't want my child to grow up fatherless. I wanted to believe Harry would change. Lynn, can you watch the store for a bit? I sighed at the request. Though the store barely had customers, it still needed attending. This meant I couldn't work on my translations or do household chores, sometimes leading to all-nighters to catch up. And being pregnant, I wanted to avoid overexerting myself. How long will you be gone?
Who knows?
Then why not put up a sign and temporarily close the shop when you're gone? It's cold inside, and it could harm the baby if I get too cold.
What? How dare you suggest that? What if a customer comes while we're closed? You've never been in retail, so you don't understand.
Why not ask Natalie to watch the store? If the three of you can't manage, why hire a part-timer? What's she here for? Natalie's mom asked me for a favor. She's been loafing around since dropping out of high school, and her mom was worried about finding her a job. So, I thought she could start at our store. Natalie's more helpful than you. She's young and cute, right? She's our poster girl, bringing in more male customers. But is that really true? From what I saw, Natalie just chatted with Mirabel, not really working. And when Harry went on deliveries, she often joined him in the truck, seemingly in a blatant affair. Eventually, Natalie became bolder and caused an unbelievable incident. One evening, after dinner with Natalie included, I was descending the stairs after using the bathroom upstairs. Suddenly, I felt a push from behind and lost my balance, falling down to the first floor. There was Natalie, looking down from the top of the stairs with a sinister smile.
What was that noise? Oh no!
Lynn, are you okay? My primary concern was the baby in my belly. Harry, can you get the car ready? What's going on? I need to take Natalie home, Harry said as he appeared, realizing the situation. We need to take her to the hospital. It would be terrible if something happened to the baby. You're okay, Lynn. Dad's always soft on you. You won't miscarry from something like this.
Don't expect special treatment just because you're pregnant.
Lynn, get up already.
It's your own carelessness. Do you realize you're causing everyone trouble?
Feeling frustrated and sad, I held back my tears, called a taxi, and went to the hospital alone. The doctor confirmed the baby was unharmed. It brought my tears of relief. While waiting in the lobby, Natalie showed up. Maybe she felt some responsibility and came to check on me? How's the baby? Did you wish I had miscarried? Is that why you pushed me down the stairs? You know that's a crime, right? How can you think of having a child in this situation? It's like you're completely out of place. David's harmless, but he just goes along with whatever Mirabel says, and he can be cold when it matters. Mirabel's bullying is getting worse, and Harry clearly doesn't care about you anymore. Mirabel likes me, so maybe it's time you gave up? You could manage as a single mom, right? Your family seems rich. Why did you marry into a family so different from yours? Did you see any benefits? Do you want to be with Harry, Natalie? I want to get married soon. I plan to be married by 18, but now I'm already 20. I want to have kids while I'm young. At least 3. That's why your child is in the way. For the child's sake, you should step aside.
Harry's crazy about me, and this situation isn't going to change.
A quick decision from you would be best for the child's happiness. Give Harry up to me. I'm confident I can get along well with both Mirabel and David. If you still won't step aside, maybe you should hear what Harry really thinks of you, Natalie said, beginning to play a recorded audio. Why didn't I meet Natalie first? I totally met the wrong person first. My mom said the same thing. Because of this useless wife, Natalie ended up as the mistress. But in my heart, Natalie is number 1, the top priority. Lynn is too proud, so we, the family, can't speak our minds. We're just tolerating her. Even when she does housework, it's half-hearted, and she doesn't clean every corner, so there's always dust flying around. I've had enough. We're running a food business, and uncleanliness is a matter of life and death. But why do I feel so relaxed around Natalie? I wish I could just live in Natalie's room forever. When I'm home with Lynn, Mom is always in a bad mood. So I end up having to be careful too. What's the point of not feeling at peace in your own home? I was speechless. I had become an unwelcome guest. Yet, thinking of the child, I hesitated to consider divorce. But then, Harry directly told me he wanted a divorce. In front of Mirabel and David. Lynn, you must be suffering here too, right? A lady like you never fit in as the wife of a business family. Mom and I have been putting up with a lot. We haven't even said half of what we want to. Continuing this marriage is just meaningless. Divorcing now is the best for our future. If there wasn't a child, divorce would be an option, but I don't want a child growing up without a father. We just can't handle Lynn here. Everything clashes. The difference in our lifestyles is just too great. someone like Natalie is more suitable for a family like ours. Mirabelle said this with complete insensitivity. Natalie's behavior was rude, despite being the mistress. Lynn, you'll find someone more suitable. I've been divorced too, you know. Mirabelle was my mistress. I chose her over my wife because we were more in sync, and I don't regret it one bit. So, I left my wife for Mirabelle, but I've never regretted it, not even once. It's all about timing. It's better for the child if you divorce now rather than when they're 4 or 5 years old. David, who's usually quiet, saying all this was shocking. It really showed how out of place I was in the Warner family. David's words hit me the hardest, and I ended up divorcing Harry. Moreover, Harry filed for marriage with Natalie the day after our divorce papers were submitted. 3 years later. The child I was pregnant with at the time of our divorce turned 2. And I had remarried a year ago. We were planning to move to New York tomorrow, and this was a visit to the Warner family. You say you want me back, but what about Natalie? You left me for her, wanting to marry her. Natalie and I divorced. It didn't last even half a year. She left the divorce papers and ran away. Was it because of your affair, Harry? No, it wasn't that. The store kept losing money, and I couldn't pay Natalie's salary. She left because I had no prospects and couldn't provide her with spending money. I don't have a trade or any special qualifications, and Natalie, despite how she appears, was very observant of that. Despite her dropping out of high school, she expected me to have an education and qualifications. I was truly deceived by Natalie. She even went to the labor standards office about her unpaid wages. I'm thinking of suing her. When I think about it, Lynn, you were perfect in managing both housework and your job. Having someone as perfect as you was too much for our family. It took us 3 years, but now I think we can make it work. Lynn, you wanted to stay married for the sake of the child, right?
It took me a while, but I've come to get you. Where's Sarah? Can I see her?
Hesitant at first, I have carried Sarah in my arms with one thought in mind. Harry, Mirabelle, and David all softened their expressions at the sight of the child. The power of a child is incredible, I thought.
Daddy.
Me? She knows I'm the dad. Harry was overwhelmed with emotion, tears in his eyes. I'm back, Sarah. Huh? Harry turned around to see my current husband, Tom, standing there. Tom, with practiced ease, took Sarah in his arms, soothing her. What's going on? Who is this?
Sarah, I'm your dad. Come here.
Sarah, sensing danger, began to cry. Tom soothed her skillfully. Wait, Lynn, you got remarried? Yes, a year ago. I'm 6 months pregnant now. We were planning to move to New York sooner, but wanted to wait until I was safely into my 2nd trimester. So we're finally leaving tomorrow. Wow, I thought you still had feelings for me, didn't want the divorce, and now you're with another man? And pregnant, too? You just like men, don't you? Excuse me? Why should I be criticized when we're divorced?
I'm not your property forever or the Warner family's housekeeper anymore.
I see why you're heading for a 2nd divorce. Thanks for the family bullying, it's been real. Sarah doesn't even know you. To her, Tom, my current husband, is the only father. I won't let you touch her. Well, calm down, Lynn. You're going to keep this secret from Sarah her whole life? That's not fair, is it? Someday, we'll tell her Harry is her real father. Finding out later might make her rebel, you know? That would be a disaster. We came here, lowering our heads, for this reason. Don't get so confrontational in front of Sarah. Think about it, the best thing for Sarah is to live with her biological father. You might have fallen for the guy who comforted you during hard times. But that's just pity, not love. We're about love. You'll fail again if you can't see that. What nerve! After callously dumping me while pregnant for a younger woman. And now, after Natalie left him, he's just flipping the script. No matter what he says, I'll never go back. Maybe I should be thankful for the divorce, it led me to remarry Tom. I won't recognize Sarah as Harry's child. Tom has legally adopted her. Then we'll have to discuss custody. Sarah is our heir, after all. Who would want to inherit a store that's always on the brink of collapse? I want Sarah to have a global future, not inherit a failing store. As a parent, I'd rather give her a store or two as a gift than have her take over that place. Oh, showing off your wealth again? Always trying to one-up us, it's unseemly. It's better to have money than not. Fine, get ready for a custody battle then. I'll have the advantage. There's a top lawyer in the neighborhood association, I'll ask him for help. Go ahead, I don't mind. My husband Tom is an elite international lawyer, after all. Harry was taken aback. Sarah looks cold, I'll take her inside. Wait, I'm done talking too. I'll go back inside. So, please leave. Feel free to get a lawyer. I firmly closed the front door. Why did your ex come back after all this time? It's been 3 years, it feels too late. He must be after the money. My translated book became a bestseller, remember? He probably thought I made a lot of money from it. I did earn a significant amount, but I owe nothing to him. That's quite presumptuous. There's absolutely no chance of us getting back together. Those days were hell. Sarah said, Daddy, storybook. Tom began reading to her, while I finished my final checks for our move. The next day, Tom, Sarah, and I left for New York. I moved to a new place when I was in elementary school, but I haven't moved since then. It would be since when I studied abroad in college. Tom said, we will never return here. I was enjoying life in New York. We welcomed our second daughter. Tom holds a great deal of respect for women, and his communication skills were impressive. He's so cool. I felt fortunate for the stark contrast to my life with Harry. Meanwhile, the Warner store closed. Suffering from continuous losses, it left nothing but debt. David, having dedicated his life to the store, fell into burnout syndrome after its closure. Mirabelle showed signs of early-onset Alzheimer's. Harry was left alone to care for his parents and manage their affairs, with all the burden falling solely on Harry. The stark contrast between my life and Harry's was clear.